Used to Wednesday. I apologize. No episode yesterday. It is Thursday, Jeff, one day closer to Friday. So that is a good thing. Another edition of the Morning Edge, DeadPresPicks, joined by my friend Geoff Fienberg. Jeff, first things first, how you doing?
It is Thursday, Jeff.
I'm doing well, and hey, we're here today, and we'll be back here tomorrow. So yesterday's loss is today's game.
That's how I like to look at it. Now, I know we got some golf going on right now. Day one, how are we looking so far? Or is it
Okay, so this might shock some people. I kind of disconnect Thursday, and not just at least in the morning. I got some important errands I have to run today. It's my kid's it's my 7-year-old's birthday.
Happy birthday.
And it'll just all consume me, Matt. If I see one of my guys miss a 7-foot putt, or he's got a 7-footer for par, and it doesn't go well, it's going to bother me way more than it should. So I'm just going to keep myself in a healthy space, and starting tomorrow for the weekend, I will be all consumed with pretty much every shot that happens for the tournament. And yeah, later today I'll check in. But as for now, I'm kind of in the dark as to some early shots. Long, tough, hell of a golf course.
Look, I give you credit for that. Disconnecting. Son's birthday, you've got to take care of that, obviously, first things first. So lots to get into, though, Jeff. It is a smaller slate, so the show will probably not go its normal length in 30 minutes. But we're going to make the most of this small slate. We're going to crush it. We're going to get a sweep for you guys. Some NBA. Let's talk real quick, though, about the game last night before we get into this Lakers-Nuggets game. Kind of taken back by that performance by Miami. It just seems like, look, I doubted them last night. I was on the Celtics with the points. Just every time I feel like Miami has been doubted, they've come up. They've kind of proven to everyone, that they're not a normal 8 seed. But what was your thoughts on that game last night?
I was totally shocked. I was excited to watch the start of the game. I watched it. It was a close game. Boston pulls away at half. I kind of disappear for a bit, lose track of time. And then I come back to see Miami's up 9. I'm like, what did I miss? And then from that point on, Boston really struggled. Maybe they got it to 3 or they cut it to 4, a couple times. But Miami would instantly pull away again, and just totally shocked. I will say, though, I staring down that minus 220, 210.
Yes.
I don't know what it is right now. I saw for a moment last night, you posted it was minus 190.
Yes. Yep.
I don't know if those still exist, but it's honestly really tempting. Just based on how Boston rebounded at the end of the 76ers series, were able to steal home court advantage back. This moment in time, the way Miami shut the lights out, I know it's not discipline to lay that kind of juice, what have you. I'm pretty tempted, though, to put a piece on Boston for the series now.
It is interesting. As soon as I saw it at that number, I sent it out, to be a big-time play. I would be shocked if they don't win this series. You kind of mentioned it. Same thing against Philly. Lose game 1. They were obviously able to rebound and win that series. But bottom line, Miami did their job, right? They're playing with house money tomorrow night. They already stole a game in Boston, and then they'll head back to South Beach. At worst, tied 1-1. So shout out to the Heat.
That's a blowout spot, right? NBA playoffs history. That's a Celtics lay any number the book asks you, almost. If you play that angle consistently.
You would think so. I think the number's 9, too. So I think the casual bettor is going to look at that and say, oh, well, the Heat just won. Let me lay the 9, right, with them. They were a public dog last night, and they worked, though. So who knows? Miami's been a tough team. Honestly, I've had a really good NBA season, really good playoffs. The Heat have been tough for me to figure out because every time I think they're kind of due to regress, they really just haven't yet. So congrats to the Heat. Heck of a performance there last night. All right, let's get to this Lakers-Nuggets game. This series, I think it's going to be outstanding. What a game 1 we had. Kind of looked like Denver was going to blow them out there in the first half. I was on the Lakers with the points. I was kind of shocked to get a push. I know a lot of people actually got a better number than me and got 6.5. I think that's what it closed at. So I think a lot of people cashed in on the Lakers in that spot, but it looked like it was going to be a runaway game. Now we come back, game 2, Lakers-Nuggets tonight. Jeff, do you have any thoughts on this one? Denver is a 5.5-point favorite, minus 215 on the money line. These lines are via FanDuel. So what do you think about this game?
So maybe it's pretty silly. I like Denver here. I'm going to lay the points. It's a shorter number than it was game game one. Obviously, there is the fact that the Lakers will be more adjusted to the altitude, probably feel comfortable, probably not get off to such a horrendous start that they got off to. But I could argue in some way some of the adjustments that the Lakers made last game that worked so perfectly for them, only that they'll certainly employ tonight, like maybe other defensive strategies against Jokic. Wow. The Joker. Yeah, like Hachimura now defending him. Well, now the Nuggets will have 2 days or 48 hours almost to sort of prepare for that, which could have caught them off guard. Obviously, things are going to go back and forth, and the people that have watched us for a few weeks now know that I was pretty high on the Nuggets at a plus 400 future in that Sun series when they held their home court advantage. So I'm biased here to the Nuggets, but I am laying the price tonight. I think everything that happened last time in the cover go down this one.
Yeah, I'm going to look at a prop here, Jeff. I think I'm going to do what I did last time and just back Anthony Davis again. I listen, the number did pop up here to 24.5. It was 22.5 last game. So we do get an inflated line a bit here. Typically, I like to fade that when the line becomes a little inflated. Very similar to what I did last night with Marcus Smart. His number opened up at like 12.5 to begin the postseason. It got up to 15.5 against Philadelphia there in Game 7. Last night, 14.5. When I see a number inflated like that, typically I like to go under. But coming into this series, I bet Anthony Davis would be the leading scorer, of this series. It was at plus 500. Jokic was favored. LeBron was the second favorite. Anthony Davis matches up extremely well with Denver. Jokic is an outstanding player. We all know how good he is. If you have one weakness to pick with him, it is his defense. Denver in general, they lack rim protection really outside of Jokic. They play undersized for the most part. It's not like they have another big that's dwelling at the rim. So Anthony Davis in this series, he needs to be the leading scorer for them to win. Game one obviously had 40 points, but he shot the ball 23 times from the floor. That's when the Lakers are at their best, right? When they let Anthony Davis be the guy and create the offense. Anytime he has shot in this postseason north of 20 times a game, he's flown over this number. So basically, Jeff, all we're betting on tonight is an aggressive form of Anthony Davis. That's all we need. We don't need him to shoot the ball extremely well from the floor. I mean, he shot pretty good in game one. I believe he ended 14 of 23. But also getting to the foul line. The Lakers shoot more free throws than anyone currently in the postseason. This is a guy that when he's going to get the chances tonight, I think he'll fly over this number. So I like Anthony Davis here a lot. I think he squeaks over this number. As far as the spread's concerned, I think we will be oppo here. I love the way the Lakers adjusted in that game. I think that Michael Malone's an outstanding coach. I was a little surprised that they kept Aaron Gordon on the floor as long as they could. The switch with Rui Hachimura that really made Anthony Davis a much more effective defender because he was able to play at the rim. I'm curious to see if they go with someone else tonight in place of Gordon, kind of to stretch the floor, because Aaron Gordon's a good player, but he's not a great shooter. So that's one advantage that Los Angeles certainly does have in this game. It'll be interesting to see the chess match tonight. But I like Los Angeles. I think the way that they were able to come back in game one, despite, like I said, it looked like it was on its way to a blowout. But I was impressed with the way that they rebounded in that game. So I would go with the Lakers here. I'm going to sprinkle that money line tonight. I think they do even the series here. And the value of plus 180 is just too good for me to pass up. So let's shift gears, guys. We do have early MLB. I know it's an odd-looking slate today. With how many games do we have? 6, I believe. So it's that travel day, kind of some teams are off kind of day. So the one good thing about Thursday, Jeff, we always get day baseball, right? So that's one thing that I'll never complain about with these early games. Yesterday, we did cash in some early bets. Shout out to the Dodgers. Looked like that game was getting away from them. Grand slam there to cash in our early free play. I got another one for us today, and we're going to be looking at the Angels and the Orioles. So the Angels coming into this game, losers of 2 in a row. They did win game 1 of this series. That evens them back out to 22-22 in the year. They got off to a strong start. They've struggled since. Jeff, how about the Orioles? 13 games over 500. If they were in any division that wasn't the AL East, they're in first place. What a season for them.
Yeah, I mean, their process seems to have worked out, right? They gutted it, and now as a fan of a division rival team, like, I just hope they're still too cheap to spend.
Yeah.
Right? Because they're at the perfect point, maybe even a little early, where they have so many great young players that are just just performing so well, and their ceilings are so high. Like, this is the time where any other organization would now bring in a veteran to sort of supplement it and spend some money. I mean, not to say it's done right, but in the way the Blue Jays had all those players, and then they started to spend on guys like, say, a George Springer.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, right? So that's how baseball works. We'll see if the Angelos family are too cheap to do it. I kind of hope they are. And from a money line perspective today, I think when I went to bed last night, this was Baltimore minus 140. Yeah. Thought about it. I wanted a piece of it. I guess I went to bed and did it. And the Orioles seem to be the play today, still minus 162 now.
It's highly inflated, but I'm going value here. I'm going to go Angels plus 140. That's on DraftKings. I know this graphic is FanDuel. Here's the thing, Jeff. In my opinion, I do think that Anderson, who's getting the ball today for the Angels, he had a great year last year with the Dodgers. He overachieved, right? I think when they signed him, the Angels, they had to expect some kind of regression. 1-0 on the year, but an ERA of 5.26. So run support has been there for Anderson. On the flip side, Wells is on the mound today for the Orioles. If you look historically, it's small sample sizes here, very small sample sizes here when I say this, but Ohtani's seen him well. One of the big reasons that I do think we're seeing this line trend towards Baltimore is because of the performance so far this year of Anderson, but he's a guy that I have faith in. I do think he turns it around sooner than later. And Wells on the flip side, I think he's a guy that's due for some kind of regression. I don't know if he'll be able to sustain this ERA of 2.68. Like, it just feels like he's a guy that when you look at his career numbers versus this year, the numbers would suggest. I mean, he's a guy that throughout his career, being that it's been 3 years, is north of a 4 ERA. So I think he's going to regress a little bit as the year goes on. It's all about value here today, Jeff, for me. I think the Angels get us started as a dog, and I'm going with them on the money line.
Seems like a good thing you waited for the morning to make that bet. You got some extra points. I guess that's a common thing, though. The favorites get steamed in those early day games, right? Yeah. People like to get on them, start a parlay or do something fancy. I got a couple baseball plays for today. Blue Jays, Yankees. When we last spoke, I gave the Yankees in that first opener of the series. They were plus 140 dogs. Yep. Silly. Manoah, the struggles continue, as I highlighted. I like to call myself, as I've joked here a few times, a sophisticated square. I'm not, I could never be a sharp because, as an example, I won't bet against the Chargers, my favorite football team. There's a point spread that can fix that. Mm-hmm. I go to a buddy's house, they want to make a parlay for fun. I'll do sort of things like that. A true sharp or someone like that would never do any of those things, right? They're just so beholden to the numbers. Well, baseball's 162 days, and I can bet against my favorite baseball team anytime I want. I feel like I had a pulse, and that was a great spot the other night. Well, tonight in this series, this game is going over. Haven't been a lot of runs scored in this one. The Jays certainly were 0 for 15 with runners in scoring position last night until they finally knocked one late. Berrios and Cortez not having the best of starts, either of them. Not totally surprised by Berrios. Cortez, little regression probably from that great season last year. I think the bats get humming in this one tonight. We are soaring over the 9 at the Rogers Center. Blue Jays, Yanks, it's going to be a slugfest.
I love it. Was on the Jays last night, Jeff. That game was giving me
the most frustrating game of the season.
My hair was turning gray. Yeah.
I had to tell my group chat that was the most frustrating game of the season. I cannot watch another inning. I actually turned it off. But I couldn't watch another inning. I'm happy they won. if anyone watched that game or bet on the Jays would know exactly what I would be talking about as someone who had been emotionally invested, not even financially invested.
Yes.
I couldn't. That game was, thank God they won. That was so frustrating. Sorry for rambling on that. But
A lot of emotions. No, a lot of emotions in that game. Yes, congrats to the Jays. They got the win. Ultimately, job done, ticket paid. So no complaints here from me. Real quick, I know I don't have a graphic for this, and this is on me because I forgot that I had to do a Nerfy of the day. We did hit our last one. We moved to 8-3. Jeff, I know I'm going to start to tempt you to get in on these. I know this is something that we've discussed.
I should have gone in like 2 weeks ago. Like now, I'm mad at myself about it. Every time you throw them out there. And it's not like I'm cheering for you to find your regression, so I cannot be mad at myself either.
Exactly. Yeah, it's probably on its way, but let's hope not tonight. We have the Marlins and the Nats. Again, small slate, guys. One of these 6 games. This is what we're going to do. We're going to go Nats, Marlins, no run, first inning. We get Trevor Williams on the mound tonight for the Nats. I'm not going to lie to you guys. This is not a perfect Nerfy guy, right? He's kind of been a journeyman starter. His numbers this year, extremely average, pretty much exactly what you would expect from him. Short sample size, 1-1, 4.23 ERA. But the guy on the other side, Jeff, is a guy we talked about a lot. I think he hit your K-prop last time out, Yuri Perez. This is one of the top prospects in baseball. Absolutely electric arm from the right side, just 20 years of age. I think he's going to get off to an extremely successful start to his career. He's one of those guys that's just difficult to figure out if you haven't seen him. Obviously, Washington has not seen him. This will just be his second career start. This is a Nats lineup that we know they're pretty limited, right? I think they've had good success this season compared to maybe what people thought. They do have some guys in that lineup that I think are legit bats and that they should be excited about for the future. But for the moment, Washington remains one of the worst lineups in baseball. So if Williams can get us here against the Marlins, who have some pop at the top of that lineup, I don't think this will be that easy. We're going to have to sweat a little bit. But if I have to make one today of the entire slate, this is the one to do it. So no run first inning, Marlins, Nats. Jeff, what do you think? You think we keep rolling?
I'm rooting for you. I'll tell you a game that you should definitely not play the Nerfy in is a game that I'm betting. The Dodgers and the Cardinals, they get into a series starting tonight, a 4-banger. Wainwright versus Urias plus ERA of 9, almost 10. He's an ERA that's flirting with 10 in the first inning. He's getting got by everybody, it seems. I'm silly enough to step in front of that, but I'm going to pick on Wainwright here, who is making his 3rd start of the season since he hurt himself. I don't know whether they actually played in the World Baseball Classic or in their training camp, whatever. He hasn't looked all that sharp. He gets to face this Dodgers team tonight. If maybe I should wait the first inning and hop on this bet in the second inning when the Dodgers are down after the 2-run Arenado bomb or something that Urias gives up to. Last game it was Soto, smoked it in the first inning, and then he just settled down. So he's got a great track record of getting rocked and then settling down. Could set up for a good live. Maybe I'll flirt with that if it happens, but I'm laying the juice with the Dodgers tonight.
This is one, Jeff, we're going to be oppo on. I actually do have the pick here on the Cardinals. So the good thing, the silver lining, one of us will be happy in this game. But I'm gonna go the other way. You kind of mentioned Urias has struggled to start in games. I do think, and his numbers have shown this, he's gotten a little bit better as of late. Remember, this is a guy last year who had Cy Young level numbers. He ended the year with an earned run average of just 2.16, and that was in 31 games. So he was outstanding this year. This is a guy that I do think, again, is a very good arm. But on the flip side, I just like the value here with St. Louis. They've been playing much better as of late. Remember that really rough start to the season that they had. And Adam Wainwright will be making his first start of the season since May 12th. So he's been out for a little bit of time or to start the year. Now he's back here on the mound. This is just a spot I feel is good for him tonight. Like I said, St. Louis, maybe they're figuring it out, Jeff. I don't know. It seems like they're turning it around. Shout out to the Dodgers yesterday, James Outman for hitting that big home run. I'm trying to find what the current odds are on the Cardinals to win that division. I still feel like they're the best team in the Central. I'm trying to see if I could pull them up here on the fly. There has to be some value, you would think, right?
I would think so. There's no one really there that, you're afraid of the Pirates. You're afraid of the Brewers, obviously, more than anybody. I'm not afraid of the Cubs.
Right. Yeah, it's not like a big – okay, so here it is. St. Louis is plus 300 right now to win the division. And, yeah, Milwaukee –
what are the odds? Yeah.
Milwaukee minus 170, Cubs plus 800, Pittsburgh plus 1,000, Cincinnati plus 4,000. So
how many games back are they of Milwaukee right now?
Let me check that. They're 18-26 on the year, I believe. Let me see. Milwaukee's not having a great year, right? I mean, they're having a good year, but they're not. Yeah, they're only 5 games over 500. Okay, so they're 6.5 out at the moment.
You nibbled that. There's too much time. Yeah, I don't mind that at all. There's too many. You can even like set little goals for yourself, like to nibble away at that. It's seems so easy with the amount of games left, to be honest.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think we could get there. I don't know if we can, but I think that now if you put this bet in maybe a week ago before they went on this 8-2 run, you might have been looking at like plus 600, plus 700. So I'm sure the number has gotten worse, but I think it's worth a sprinkle. I was just looking at the odds for divisions. Atlanta's minus 500 to win the NL East. Isn't that crazy? I mean, they do have a nice cushion so far. 5 games over the Marlins, 6.5, 7 over my Phillies. But, that is a heavy favorite. The Dodgers are minus 400 already in the NL West. Like, I just think these numbers are insane at this stage in the season. We're just, a couple months in. There's a lot of baseball left. So that's 6-7 games that you're up right now, not really all that crazy. But we'll see. We'll see who wins those divisions. All right. Let's go to – are we going to hockey or the parlay? We're going to hockey first? All right, so let's do some hockey here. We do get an interesting matchup, I think, in the Eastern Conference. Probably one of the least expected outcomes. Is that fair, Jeff, to say in the Eastern Conference? 2 teams that came into the playoffs. Carolina had a decently tough back there, but Florida's the team that really has overachieved during the postseason, obviously knocking out Boston, knocking out your Maple Leafs. And now here they come into Raleigh tonight. Who wins this one?
So Florida would have knocked out the 2 teams that at the start of the rounds were the favorites to win the whole thing.
Yep.
I lean Carolina, but I have no action on this game. I haven't bet this series. I'm sure maybe I'll get into it. I don't know that it'll be tonight. Both teams should be well rested. Feels like it's been long enough for the Panthers. I have no strong lean in this at all, to be honest. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, the line has moved heavily towards Carolina. I agree. Game 1, I like them on their home ice, but it won't be a big play for me. This is an exciting series. I think these are 2 teams, like we said, not really expected to be in this spot. Carolina more so. Really, Florida's the team that has went on a heck of a run here. But I like Carolina to win this series. I like them to win this game tonight. I do think. Let's see the series price. All right, from a series perspective, Jeff, they're minus 135, Carolina to win the series. And then on the flip side, we will get to this game tomorrow, the Stars and the Knights. Vegas is favored. So from a betting standpoint, the Stanley Cup is expected to be Carolina and Vegas. That'd be an interesting cup, but we shall see. So just a short recap there on the ice. We'll have an article out about that as well tonight. All right, let's get to the final segment of the show. I did cook up a parlay. Look at this, basically plus 14, right? 1,400. So let's get to this one, Jeff. We're going to need a lot to go right tonight. We are going to need all dogs to bark, and I think we can do it. So this is an all-dog parlay. It's going to start in about 30 minutes when the Angels battle it out with the Orioles in Baltimore. Again, we've talked about that game. I like the value there. I think Anderson's a guy that's due to put in some strong work, give a good outing. On the flip side, I think Wells regresses a bit. The St. Louis Cardinals there, Waino back on the mound. At home, they're playing well, 8-10 over their last 10. I think they're finally finding their groove after that hard start to their season. So I like the value there. And then last but not least, the Lakers win outright tonight. That's my opinion. I think they do go into Denver. I think they hand the Nuggets their first home loss of the postseason, and I do think that they get the win. The value here, far too good. Throw $10 on it, right? I mean, maybe win something nice on it. Don't go crazy here, but get in, get something, make it happen. That's it. So that's it for today. Jeff, any last words that you got for us before we close it up?
No, when we first started today, it felt like Wednesday ending. It feels like Friday.
Yes.
But we'll be back tomorrow to do Game 2 in Boston, and we'll start off the Western Conference Final as well in the NHL.
Yes, we will. Yep. So tomorrow, guys, again, apologize. Yesterday, we did not have the show. Today makes up for it, but like Jeff said, the silver lining, back-to-back shows. So we will be back same time. You can find us here tomorrow. Make sure you guys give us a follow on Twitter at oddscheckerUS, and we will see you all. I hope everybody has a fantastic rest of their Thursday. Get those bets in. 30 minutes we got until these early games start. Love this Thursday action. We'll see you guys back here tomorrow morning. Everyone.